Hey everybody, y'all know what today is. It's Tuesday. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I think I'm supposed to say it like that, but y'all know how it goes. Anywho, I'm not gonna stay on here long because I got a lot of stuff to do. But I just want to rant for a second because I just want to make sure that I'm not crazy. Maybe I feel crazy. I don't know. But I want to talk about y'all government, but I promise you, y'all. When I put stuff about this governor on other social medias, they mute it or they take it off or whatever. So I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna behave and act like I got sense today. Um, so they don't mute me or take me off. But one thing I want to talk about is controlling your mind. And by controlling your mind, I mean control your thoughts. Control what you think or what you feel, especially what you think or feel that someone else feels about you. Because most times, like you are completely off, like completely off. I think it's easier to just ask people, like like what, well, but sometimes we don't. And what happens is we ruin relationships, we ruin friendships. Relationships, when I say relationships, I mean friendships as well. I'm including everything, encompassing everything into a relationship or a friendship. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start thinking all off whack, or you start not controlling your mind, just feeling like, oh, I feel this, I feel this. I know the whole world now is like big on this energy. Like everybody's like, I'm big on energy, I'm big on energy. But I've seen a lot of people be off about people's energy. You know what I'm saying? Especially like if you like, I'm the kind of person I have a blank face. My face is always blank. It's like always blank, or I always look like I'm mad. But I'm not mad. I'm thinking, or I'm extra happy. I'm just looking for something because I'm mischievous. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for something to get into, basically. So if I'm looking like something's wrong with me, I'm really just looking for something to get into. Nothing's wrong with me. Nobody did nothing to me. Nothing happened. But I think I'm frustrated with people ruining relationships based off of what them not being able to control your mind. You have to look at life in your perception, like how you perceive things or what kind of things you've been through before. And then you have to make sure that person feels the same. I know it is trying times, it's hard times, it's frustrating times at this moment. And a lot of people are going through a lot of things. And a lot of people are fighting a lot of battles that we don't even know about as friends, family members, cousins, aunties, whatever, whatever. And then people are saying stuff like, oh, well, you acting funny, or oh, well, you was looking funny, or oh, you ain't speak to me. I promise you, sometimes I walk past people and I not intentionally don't speak. I actually don't see them, and it's not anything towards that person. It's not in. We have to control our minds because we are breaking down relationships and friendships and whatever based off of a feeling or something that we're dealing with, and not even considering that maybe that other person might be dealing with something themselves as well. Control your thoughts. And I know when I'm talking to people, they're like, well, how I control my thoughts? Just ask a person. I don't know when we came to this place because growing up, I remember like my auntie, my mama, especially my auntie Barbara, and my grandma, they was gonna ask you whatever in front of whoever. So why can't we get back to that space where we are just honest and open with each other? Like when do we become so soft? When you saying to someone, "Are you upset with me?" was an issue, or when did we come to that space, or saying like you're crowding my space or you're getting on my nerves? So when did we come to that space where it was so like it's so like everybody's scared to say something to each other? Are they scared to like just like say something? I don't even know how to say it except for I just continuously tell people talk, use your words. And I know it sounds like it's a like elementary school thing. You heard that in elementary school. Use your words, use your words, use your words. Use your words. So you don't have to think and torment yourself about what you feel somebody feels about you. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't even feel that. They don't even feel that. A few weeks ago, I received a long text message from someone, like a very long text message. And they know I'm talking about them because they had me so tickled. A long text message about how they felt I felt about them. I felt none of that. I did not even know what they was talking about. It blindsided me. I was confused. And I just picked up the phone and I called them and I said, control your mind. If you felt I felt anything, why not just ask me? Why send me a hateful message? Like, don't send a hateful message. Just ask the person. Control your thoughts when it considers people. And if you feel like you did something to hurt someone, apologize. When do we become so blank where we got so much pride now, we don't even want to say, I apologize for XYZ thing. If you wrong, you wrong. That encompasses with controlling your thoughts, controlling like how you make someone feel, what you're doing to them. But we get into this space that we don't want to say nothing to nobody. If we hurt them, so well, oh well, I don't care about their feelings. But then when somebody do something to you, you and act all crazy. It don't add up for me. It's not adding up. That's the one thing I want to talk about. Controlling your thoughts as it considers other people or as it comes to other people. And how can you do that? Just ask the question. It's that simple. And don't be scared. Why are we so, like I asked somebody the other day, why are we so scared? What are we scared of? We scared like, I don't know. What are we scared of? What are we scared somebody's gonna not like us, or they're not going to support us, or they're not going to what? What are we afraid of when it comes to talking to people that you've known for years or that you've been around for months and days and whatever? If you don't have that kind of relationship where you can go to someone and talk to them on a one-on-one basis, then it's never was a relationship. It never was love, or it never was a friendship or whatever. It never was that. Any relationship that you have, you should be able to talk to the person. You should be able to go to them. There's been people that I removed from my life because I can't talk to them. I'm a communicator, so I want to know. I'm going to ask you the question. Like, is this what it is, or is this what it is? Okay, is that what it is? Then allow me to move the way that I need to move. And no, all the time people are not going to be honest about what they feel, because I've had people say, "Oh, I'm not upset with you," but everything that they do shows upset. So no, sometimes you're reading the right energy, but sometimes the energy is off, and you have to check yourself and say, "What is wrong with me?" Because a lot of times we'll feel things because we want attention, or we feel like you did something wrong and that person is upset with you, or it sometimes it's based just off what you feel. Has nothing to do with the other person. It's just based off of what you feel, truly. And I think a lot of that comes from looking for approval. I do this thing, and I want y'all to try this, right? When people I know are not confident, like they're not confident in what they do or who they are or whatever, to build their confidence, they like to look at people to see if somebody's agreeing with them. I always look away because I know they about to look at me to see if I'm agreeing with them. And it's not about me agreeing with you. It's about you being confident in what you feel. Because you shouldn't look for approval for what you feel from someone else. That approval needs to come from your within, like it needs to come from in you. So every time somebody says something and then they look at me, I look the other way. They do something, they look at me, I look the other way. Not that I didn't see them, but the whole fact is you have to build that confidence up within yourself. It's the same thing. It's like building a relationship, building that confidence to be able to talk to the person and have a straight conversation with people. That's important. It is like the big issue within our community. We don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to talk to each other sensibly. We can cuss each other out. We can scream at each other. We can get mad at each other, and we can blurt out all the bad stuff that you feel a person has done to you. But instead of coming to you and saying, like, listen to your best friend, like, girl, when you said such and such, that hurt my feelings. Now your friend can do two things. She could say, I apologize for hurting your feelings, or she could say, girl, I didn't mean to hurt you. Nobody don't hear all that. So you have to build that confidence up. And you have to know, like, when you go into an area, you have to judge yourself as well as asking, like, Okay, I feel like this person upset with me, but is this just something I'm feeling within myself because I did something or I'm feeling some type of way? And then if you still can't figure it out, you need to go to that person and say something. Control your thoughts. Control your thoughts. When you don't control your thoughts, you allow people to change your moods. I always have this mellow tone, like this mellow, like I'll just be chilling. Like I'm literally just chilling. And I feel like if a person gets me so upset, I need to remove myself from them and I don't need to talk to them. And I know people find that to be very harsh because people like attention. But if I get so upset, I just need to remove myself. And I don't need to say nothing because if I don't got nothing nice to say, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just, you know what I'm saying? Let's just not talk. Sometimes you have to get to that space. If you feel like when you're communicating with somebody and you're not able to talk to them, sometimes you just, okay, I cannot talk to that person. You can't force someone to talk to you and you can't force them to tell the truth. But you also have to worry about controlling what you're feeling and making sure that you're not projecting something that is not there. Because I'm finding that we are building relationships like based on lies. We're building relationships based on just fun situations. You're not building a relationship based on the reality of what the relationship really is. And that goes for every relationship, not like romantic, not just romantic, but friendship wise. We're saying people are friends and we never went through anything with them and been able to go to them and talk to them. My friends know I'm not always available and I'm not always the easiest to get on the phone. I'm really not. And I'm definitely not always the easiest to access. But if they send me a text message like I just need to talk to you, I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to talk. And then once we had that conversation, I'm gonna tell them, all right, I'll talk to you later. But that, it's nothing to say like if you mean something to someone and someone means something to you, you have to open up those lines of communication and really talk. Like really talk. Because I'm finding that we don't know each other. We don't know each other. And it can go back to relationships. I had a gentleman, he was talking to me about his relationship. And I was like, well, how long y'all been together? I think he said like 5, 6 years or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, when did the communication break down? He said we was never able to talk. I was like, oh, well, perhaps you should not be in that relationship because you don't even know who you're talking to. You don't even know who you're sleeping with. You don't even know who you carrying on this long relationship if y'all cannot communicate about anything. The biggest drawback in the Black community is that we don't talk. We talk about each other, we talk at each other, but we don't talk to each other. And that's a hindrance because therefore we don't really know what the other person is feeling. We don't know what the other person is going through. I just said sometimes you may break a relationship or split a relationship or get mad at someone because you feel like this person is being funny. Well, guess what? Their lights might be off. They might not have no food in their house. Their kids might be acting crazy. Anything. They could have just lost their job and they just don't want to talk about it at that moment. We don't know what people be going through internally. They could be dealing with some kind of mental illness that causes them to be depressed, that causes them to be frustrated. When you start noticing things in people, then you ask them. People will tell you that it's been relationships that I've had, friendships, relationships, whatever I've had, and I've asked the person, like, do you deal with depression? Based off of things that they've done, not taking it offensively what they're doing, but just like, wait a minute, there's something else going on here. It's communication. It's getting to know that person. So then you're not breaking or severing relationships, good relationships or good friendships that you can actually salvage if you just talk. If you open up your mouth and say exactly how you feel. What's the problem? I think who the sex that has the hardest time talking, they say, is men. But I don't find that to be true because the about I'll say about 70% of my clientele are men, and they open all the way up. Like they open all the way up about stuff. I'd be like, oh, okay, and they're able to speak. And I think it's just the approach. Maybe it's the approach that I have, or maybe it's the willingness for someone to listen. Because I know a lot of men that will completely talk your whole ear off about what they're going through, what they feel, whatever. They don't have a problem talking. But sometimes, as women, we don't take that opportunity to listen. We just don't take the opportunity to listen. It's almost like we expect for men to be strong, but not to be vocal. But how do they gain strength unless we keep encouraging them? So it doesn't add up. I don't think that men have an issue talking. I think that women have an issue talking because women are just, I don't know why we are competitive. Instead of us saying to another female, where you get the outfit from, we want to talk about the outfit. We want to talk about her hair and how the outfit will look better on us. And blah, 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 blah. It doesn't make sense. Instead of women being able to communicate with the men, they communicate with their friends, but then they not telling him, and then he's blindsided as to why she walking around with an attitude, she mad, what? Because we're not communicating, we're not speaking. So I don't think men have a problem talking. I think that they just need somebody to listen, because if you start listening, just try this. Just listen to one of your cousins, your uncle, or somebody who will completely talk your ear off. Don't intermingle in the conversation, just basically like, oh, okay, yeah. Just have a good conversation. Men will talk to you all night long till they can't talk no more. Like they be having a lot of pent up things like they be wanting to talk about. But then try to talk to a woman. Women barely speak when another woman walks into a place. Barely, barely speak. You can walk into a setting and you can say, "Hey, everybody." It's gonna be some women that are gonna be like, "Hey, hey," but it's gonna be some women that's just gonna be looking with a stank face. Why are we doing that? When we should be the biggest communicators. We have to communicate with our children. We have to teach them how to communicate. We have to communicate at our jobs. We have to communicate because most times we're doing something that has to do with the public, like customer service or caretaking or something like that. So we can't say Mr. Bob at the nursing home got a little stank attitude. Maybe Mr. Bob depressed. Maybe he feeling pain. Maybe he going through something mentally, being in the nursing home and not being able to take care of himself. I think like as a unit of people around the world, not just black and white, but just as a unit of people, somewhere along the lines we lost compassion and we lost what love really is and what acceptance really is. Because people will say, like, I accept you for who you are and I accept you for what you do. But they really don't. They literally don't. They don't. They're judgmental about what you do. They don't accept everything. Now, if you're telling a friend something that's bad for them or they're doing something that's bad for them, that's going to hinder them in their life, that's one thing. That's not saying you don't accept them. But on the flip end of that, accept somebody for who they are is taking everything that comes with them, whatever it may be. I'm not judging you. I'm taking everything that comes with you. And then I'm just allow me to be me. But we don't accept each other. We don't respect each other enough to accept each other because everything is a big freaking competition. Everything is a big competition when nobody has more than the other person. In reality, you have your rich people, but rich people have problems too. You have your middle class people, but middle class people have problems too. You have your poor people, but poor people have problems too. And at the blink of an eye, everything can change. You can go from poor to rich, from rich to poor. So when it all comes down to it, we are all exactly the same. Exactly the same, except for we have individualities that we've grown up with. I'm tired of talking about traumas because if you're not learning to heal your traumas after the whole world is talking about traumas, So if you're not learning, that's like self-love. I'm tired of talking about self-love. If you ain't learned self-love and healing traumas, that's an issue. But that's an issue that you're going to have to deal with. The next thing is acceptance and a learning to communicate with people. Because now that you're working on your self-love and you're working on healing your traumas, now you got to work on penetrating that stuff on the outside. So then we can make this place, hey, my baby sister, we can make this place that they call a world a different place, or at least make our community a different place. At least make our community a different place. I think I'm a little frustrated with, um, I ain't gonna mention y'all government name, but I'm more frustrated that parents are not taking it serious. Um, Especially at middle school age. Middle school uh, is the age that they want to capture because now they're getting ready to be an adult and they want to prepare them for the working world. Well, I'm not preparing my children for working world. I'm preparing my children for the business world because the whole goal is for them to own a business. See, the problem is there is no more workers. There is no more workers. People don't want to work anymore. They don't want to work. You got 1,000 LLCs. You got people starting corporations. You got people doing nonprofit businesses. You got all these different things happening in the government. I'm gonna try not to say nothing crazy. I promise y'all on every other social media they delete my videos. But you got them, the government, upset because nobody wants to work. So now they want to take these middle schoolers and they want to teach them that slavery was a positive thing. It's a lie. It was never positive. It's never positive for someone to come and take something from you and then enslave you. That's not positive. There's nothing positive about that. But if they teach them that, they're hoping that they will say, okay, well, I learned some skills, and you know what? The world really isn't so bad, and the government is really in rape. No, no. And I can't blame some parents because you know what? Some people just don't know. That's the reality of it. They just don't know. They really don't understand because they lack education. And I'm not saying that in a negative condemnation. I'm saying like we as a community have to do a lot better and move a lot different in helping each other learn. Like we really have to do a lot better at this. Because if we don't teach the people who don't know, and I know a lot of people get mad at me when I talk about teaching people, but my master's degree is in education, so that's what I like to do. But they say they're not teaching people no more. They tired of teaching people. Um, they tired of talking to people. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm talking to my little sister too. They tired of talking to people about learning and paying attention and things like this and all that stuff. Well, you know what? I'm gonna keep talking to y'all till I'm blue in the face. Educate yourself about what they're educating your children. First of all, it ain't that many teachers because they keep calling me talking about being a teacher. No, I would educate on the outside because I don't want to be constricted as to what I can tell people or what I can tell children. So educate yourself on what's happening and what they're teaching your children. Even in elementary schools, if you think that these people removed all of these books and all of these different things, then because they know that 9 times out of 10, we are not going to teach it. When I was in high school, we had African American history in, elementary school, middle school, and I graduated from Pinellas Park. So we had African American history my ninth grade year and my 10th grade year. But 11th and 12th grade, they had done already got that out of school. They was like, we done with that. We not finna do that no more. And we didn't fight for it. Our parents didn't fight for it to stay in the school. So now we have a new curriculum being introduced to the children. And I said, I'm going to talk about this, but this thing got me hot. Um, Now we have a new curriculum introduced to children, young children that are impressionable because at middle school age, you really don't know who you are. You're still kind of learning. Even in high school, I don't really think you learn who you are until you're 30. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. But you're still kind of like learning at that age. And then you're kind of like taking everything at face value. Whatever the teacher say, especially if you love the teacher, then that's what it is. And they want to program and ingrain this stuff into children's minds. And I don't think it's fair. So on the backside of that, the parents have to parent. They have to parent and they have to educate themselves on what is right and what is wrong. Because I know a lot of parents don't want to homeschool. It's hard to homeschool. It's not easy to homeschool. We went through COVID. Y'all know I'm country, so COVID or whatever you call it. We went through that, and that was hard. Some kids failed. Some kids made it. Some kids made it, but they didn't even learn anything because the parents were struggling as well. Grab somebody, and if you know some information or if you know something that can help them, help them. I don't know at what point, like people say, oh, our community been crabs in the bucket forever and forever, forever, forever. And and some people probably remain that way. Other races have crabs in the bucket too. It's not just our race. But because this is who we are, then we relate with that our race more. But on a serious note, watch what they are teaching their children. Get involved. Go to these meetings. Be a parent. What do you call it? I forget what the thing is. I always I forget now. But what it's called when you parent, teacher, whatever, assistant, whatever. Go to the school. Volunteer. Get some books. Get some books. Make your children read. Florida has Disney, Busch Gardens, Adventure Island, um, all these other little things. They bred people here to work. Because if you listen to other places, they are teaching different things different from Florida. So they bred people in this space to work, and they bred you to work at these places because it's a tourist state. They're gonna get me for this one. This is a tourist state. So they only bred you for what they want you to do. Do not allow the system to program you to do what they want you to do. Do something different. Learn something different. We had a huge talk um, on the Morning Mimosa show uh, Sunday. So if you didn't watch that, go back and watch that. Even though the talk was more so about Carly, um, we hit on a couple of different things. And especially like in our community, we hit on a couple of different things. And you can't make people do stuff. But it is definitely time for us to rise above what they say we are and to do more than what they say we can do. Slavery did not teach Black people agriculture or skills. Or we had skills before that. We were born with skills. I watched this little boy. I watched this little boy a few weeks ago build a bicycle. And I mean, I sat there with him the whole time. Me and his parent sat there and we watched him build a freaking bicycle. 7 years old. Nobody never taught him how to do that. I'm pretty sure that some of y'all kids do amazing things that nobody taught them how to do, which says that we already had skills before we came here, which says that if we built this world and we built these places and we did this and we already had these things. Don't allow somebody to take something away from you that belongs to you. Pay attention to your kids. Pay attention to the relationships that you build and the ones that you break down. If you wrong somebody, go back to them and say, I apologize. I should have, whatever, whatever, whatever. Because more than anything at this moment is when we need to get closer to each other. We need to be more vigilant about what we're doing and how we're acting. The media is off. And I know y'all like, this is serious talk. I'm upset. Like, I'm hot. And this is my platform, and this is the platform that I can use to talk about what I feel this world is trying to do. The media is off. I don't even watch TV like that. When I hear stuff, I just hear it on the whim or I read it because I refuse to let the media jam something and program me. If you see something, I guess like if you was in school, I was born in the 80s. So we used to do spelling tests. So we used to have to write the word, say the word out loud, write the word in a sentence. We used to have to do pre-spelling tests. Your mama giving you a 20 spelling tests at home. You gotta, put the spelling words in the story, all this other stuff, repetition, 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 repetition. And now they don't even practice repetition in school because repetition is how you learn, it's how you get in your brain. So if you constantly seeing something, hearing something, feeling something, hearing something, they telling you this, they telling you that. If you constantly doing that, therefore, they know what they're injecting into you. It's a thousand stories that could come that they could put on. They could talk about how where you can get good food from. They could talk about all the farms that still you can still walk to in Florida, like Clearwater, Tampa, St. Pete. People have farms that you can go there and you can get good food. You don't have to get food at the grocery store. They never mention them. But they mention all the fake food, but we still eating because we feel like we don't have a choice but to get that food. The reality is this. Pay attention. Pay attention. Instead of us being caught up on hating each other, competition, showing off, all that kind of stuff, pay attention to the realities that are happening in your world. It's hard times, of course. The rent's up, the lights is up. I just saw Plies going off by his light bill. I felt that because I was like, geez, Louise, it's one person, been one person in this house all summer. Why is my light bill $198? I'm not doing nothing. I'm sitting in one space. It's ridiculous. So the people who are in poverty are feeling that brunt of it, but it's only to force you to work. If you have a business, you have an LLC, learn everything that you need to know because the rules have changed. So if you think you got an LLC and you just selling your lashes or you selling some clothes and you selling this and you think that that's no, go back because they changed some rules. There's some new fines being imposed if you don't apply by this, if you don't do this, you don't do that. Learn that stuff. Get on people's pages that are like tax investors, that do taxes, that know about the LLC, that know about business. Good people, not people who just like playing. Get on some people and invest in yourself. There are people that have classes for $20, $10, $15. Nobody shows up to these classes. And they are giving the best information. Get that information because you need it. You literally need the information. Don't just have an LLC or a nonprofit and don't have what the new rules are because the new rules are intended to break down the African American community because they know that we are not looking. Y'all pay attention. This is my rant for today, my motivational hour. If you need help with your business or to know somebody who's good to work with, I will send you to somebody. 100%. I will tell you this person is good. I can vouch for them. This person is good. I can vouch for them. And these are not people that are expensive. These are people that want to help the community. And they may not be as popular as everybody else because they're not charging what everybody else. But just because somebody is not charging, there are a lot of good people within our community that still want to help, that's not worried about the financial part of it. They're more concerned about us building a good community that is profitable. They're more concerned about you keeping your LLC and your business doing better and you learning how to do the paperwork. So when you do your taxes, you can get 40, 50, $60,000 back and not just get whatever you get in or not know how to claim your business properly. Get with these people. Watch what they're teaching your children. I love y'all.